small gathering of people huddled around an object on fire, chanting ritualistically. One person at the center of the circle leans forward, closes their eyes, and makes an offering to the spirits and blows. I have just described to you a birthday party. Did you get it? Hey, my intimate intellects, and welcome back. I know I've been gone for a moment, but I'm back now. And today is my birthday, or rather, when this video posts, it will be my birthday. And what a better way to celebrate than by exposing birthday parties as ancient pagan rituals that Christianity tried to ban for centuries. And this was very fun to look up. So, because every time you blow out your candles and make a wish, you're performing a ritual that dates back thousands of years to the moon goddess worship, evil spirit protections, and offering to pagan deities. Let's get into it. In case I didn't mention it, my birthday's February 2nd. So first thing first, when did we start celebrating actual birthdays? And that is a very interesting part. Most people think it started in ancient Egypt, but that's not quite right. The oldest known birthday on record comes from ancient Sumer, the modern day Iraq, and that is around 2400 BCE. And apparently we have tablets and documented birthday celebration in the city of Lagash. Lagash. But here's the thing, these weren't birthday celebrations. These were basically coronations. And I'm gonna get into it. So they weren't celebrating the day the person came out of the womb. They were actually celebrating the king and when he became a god. So no celebrating when your mother gave birth to you. Nobody really cared about that. It was basically the birth of kings into godhood. Not the day you became a person or were born, but the day you became a god. Now, Egypt did celebrate the pharaoh's birthday, but in the same way. It wasn't the day you were born, it was his AKA coronation day, the day he went from being pharaoh or human to being birthed into a god. And so for thousands of years, birthdays were only for royalty. They weren't for regular people. Nope. If you just kind of existed, nobody really needed to know when you were born if you were just a regular person. The peasants outside, the merchants, all those people, nobody cared. Unless you were the king or the pharaoh, those are the only people who got to celebrate a birthday. And like I said, it was when they were being born into gods. And here's a fun fact that I loved. The first birthday party mentioned in the Bible was Genesis 4:20, Pharaoh's birthday. And on that birthday, he pardoned 2 servants. I'm just going to give you a quick version. If you go and read it, it's brutal. But I'm going to give you a quick version. He pardoned 1 servant and executed another. And even in the Bible, birthday parties were kind of chaotic. And if I'm remembering right, it was his hand bearer and the baker. I'm not going to Google it. I know this. I think the baker got executed. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Greeks and the moon gods. This next part was really fun to find out. The ancient Greeks believed that every person had a guardian spirit present at their birth. The spirit watched over you your entire life and had a mystical connection to whichever god shared your birthday. Now that is fun. You got astrology, but if you was Greek, you got a whole spirit that followed you around that coordinated with your birthday, the day you were born. One of the most important goddesses was Artemis, goddess of hunt, wilderness, and the moon. Pay attention, the Greeks would bake a round-shaped cake to her honor, then decorate them with lit candles to make them glow like the moon. And those candles weren't just decorations. When you blew those candles out, the smoke would carry up your wishes or would carry up your prayers to the gods in the skies. So when you blow out your candle and you making a wish, that is a 2,500-year-old tradition you're doing like the Greeks did. Greeks knew how to party though, so it was fun. But there's also darker reasons why they did birthday parties. In many pagan belief systems, major days have changed. So it could be the day you were born, your birthday. If you were moving up in certain positions, a major change happening in your life, they thought it would invite evil spirits. So your birthday was considered a very vulnerable time during that time because you're making a change. You're older. So the spirits were coming for you, as they would say. So what would they do? They would surround the birthday person with friends and family to protect them. Your friends and your family would make loud noises and clap and sing and all this other fun stuff to scare the evil spirits away. So nothing would happen to the person who's celebrating the actual day of birth. So a birthday party is technically an ancient protection ritual against the spirits. I thought that was really neat and cool and fun, and I loved looking that up. I don't know if I pronounced the moon goddess right, Artemis. Now let's get to Rome. Rome had a very interesting take when it came to celebrating the birth of the parties, and I'm going to get into it with you. Ancient Rome was the first civilization to celebrate regular people's birthdays. Stay with me. And when I say regular people, meaning you weren't the emperor, you weren't the king, you were the peasant and the merchant and all those people who were underneath the emperor, you can celebrate your birthday. It was for everybody. Everybody could throw their birthday. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. Only the men could celebrate their birthdays in Rome. Yeah, but it got better. Hold on. Women's birthdays weren't celebrated in Rome until about the 12th century. So that was over a thousand. You hear me? 1,000 years later that women were officially included in birthday celebrations. So when Rome started, Romulus and Remus, if you don't know who those are the founders of Rome gods. They were nursed by a she-wolf in a cave. And I guess from there, the men were like, yeah, they celebrated their birthdays. The day you came out of the womb from your mother, but you couldn't celebrate your mother's birthday till 1,000 years later. But anyway, I thought that was kind of mean. Women give birth. Why? Just let that sink in. Women give birth. Why couldn't they celebrate their birthdays until 1,000 years later? Rome knew how to party though. I'm gonna do a video on that. The Romans and them Greeks, I got videos coming. I'm finna move on. Okay, so anything that's fun and great to have, the Christians came and tried to ruin it all. So I'd have no beef with you if you are Christian, Catholic. I've done this. I don't care. Be what you want. But I know you study as enough history as I have. Who's coming to ruin the party? It was the Christians. So yes, early Christianity hated birthday celebrations. They actively opposed, they actively opposed birthdays for almost like 300 plus years, if I was getting the math right while doing that. And there were two reasons why. First, birthday parties were pagan. Everything about them, the cakes, the offering to the guardian spirits, the protection rituals, which deeply connected to pagan worship. Christians wanted nothing to do with it. The second reason, two, Christians believed that all people were born with original sin. That was one of the arguments. Anyway, they said people were born with their original sin and your birthday wasn't a celebration. It was the anniversary of you entering a world of sin. It had nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Most people had not. I know who did the original sin. I'm not getting into that. Those were the two reasons Christianity hated and opposed birthday celebrations. The origin of Alexandria, one of the most influential early Christian theologians, writing in the 3rd century, was very clear. I gotta read my script because I'm not great at memorizing this. So you're like, what are you doing? I'm reading. Here we go. This is what Alexandria, one of the first influential early Christians, wrote about birthday parties. He said, of all the holy people in the scriptures, no one is recorded to have kept a feast or held a great banquet on his birthday. It is only sinners like the Pharaoh and Hero who make great rejoicings over the day in which they were born into the world below. Did you catch it? He said that birthday celebrations were something only sinners do. I know some of you are thinking something right now. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, some of you are thinking like, but yeah, just stay with me. I got you. I know where you're going because I did the same thing. Just stay with me, okay? So instead of celebrating Christian births, Christians decided to celebrate on commemorating the dead, the death of like martyrs and saints. You know, those people, the martyrs. Valentine, it's February. There's like 3 Valentines, and then there's saints. There's Saint Nicholas, which was a real person. There is other saints. I'm not going to try to remember a name at this time, but they commemorated their death. That's what Christians did. Not the day you were born, original sin, but the day you died. And I guess you were free from the sin if you believed in God, and God saved you from that sin and you went to heaven. So you remember death, but only for saints and martyrs. But anyway, now, like I said, some of you are saying, but yes, I know. So what changed? What do you think changed? Christmas. Christmas changed. By the 4th century, Christians started celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ himself. And once that door opened slowly over the centuries, personal birthdays started becoming acceptable again. But there are still some religious groups who do not celebrate birthdays because of the pagan origins. And, people always can do what they want to do. Because if they were in Rome and they were a woman, they weren't getting the celebration. If they were in Mesopotamia, they weren't getting the celebration unless they were a king. If they were in Egypt, they weren't getting the celebration. I mean, they're basically still doing the same thing they would do in ancient times, because you wouldn't celebrate your birthday unless you was a king, pharaoh, in Rome, like the Romans do, Greeks, whatever. But I digress. So if some of you may be asking, so if birthdays are ancient, where did modern day birthday parties come from? And that Germany. It came from Germany in the 1700s. Like your Christmas tree came from Germany as well. Your Christmas tree is German. Whether many of you didn't know that or not, your Christmas tree is German. And then Queen, around that time, it's like, ooh, I like that. And then she got a Christmas tree. Everybody's like, oh, it's trendy. Whatever the royalty was doing, it was trendy. So like the potato flower, if you watch my potato video. So then everybody got a Christmas tree. Boom. German tradition everywhere. Anyway, I don't know why I did that, but yes, if you didn't know, I just thought you should know. But yeah, that's where your Christmas. Anyway, the Germans created something called Kinderfest. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but on my end it looks like Kinderfest, which literally means children's festivals. And this is where basically everything we do now come from, in a way. To me, that's what they say, but to me, a lot of things we do comes from Greek and Rome, mostly Greek. So, but if you want a modern day history, here you go. On a child's birthday morning, they would wake up with a cake topped with a candle, one for each year, plus an extra candle, the light of life. The extra candle represented hope for another year to come. And a lot of people still do this. They say, and one to grow on. I feel like it's different. But if you get hit, you say, oh, it's your birthday. How old are you? Oh, you're 10. You get hit 10 times and then boom, one to grow on. I remember something like that. But anyway, here's something wild though. Those candles were lit in the morning and left burning all day. They weren't blown out until after dinner. And that making a wish ritual, that is German too. The tradition was that if a child blew out all the candles in one breath, their wish would come true, but only if they kept it a secret, which some of us still do today. And the Germans also believed that family and friends needed to surround the birthday child to protect them from, what did the Greeks do? Evil spirits. That was Romans too. Protect them from evil spirits who might try to steal their soul. And that is the same pagan belief from 1,000 years earlier. So to me, not much has changed. Kind of all still the same. But yeah. Now let's get into the happy birthday song. Who wrote this song? Happy birthday to you. There were 2 sisters, Patty and Mildred Hills. They were school teachers in Kentucky, and in 1893, they wrote a song called Good Morning to All for their kindergarten class. It had the same exact melody as Happy Birthday to You, but the lyrics were just different. It was like, good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning, dear children, good morning to all. That was the thing. It's very kindergartenish teacher energy. But anyway, somehow nobody knows exactly how. I've looked this up, I've searched, I've Googled, I even went and got a book. I did archives. I looked in the archives. I went to the back pages of Google, you know, that forbidden land of Google where you'd be like, the ninth page. I have searched, I've asked, even asked ChatGPT. Nobody knows who exactly or when the lyrics got changed to Happy Birthday to You. And nobody knows how it spread as fast as it did. But just know that that is the original melody beat from Mrs. Patty and Mildred Hills. We do have that story, but who changed the lyrics to Birthday, we'll know. If you know, let me know. I've looked, I don't know. But anyway, so by the 1930s, everyone was singing this, and here's a little bit of insanity for you. Warner Chappell Music claimed copyright ownership to the song and charged people every time they used it in movies, TV shows, or restaurants. The restaurants. It was charging the restaurants. And baby, they made millions of dollars off the Happy Birthday to You song. That was until, and it wasn't until 2016 when a federal judge was like, this song is actually just public domain. It's a happy birthday song. Anybody can do it. And he said that it was a public domain song, and it always was. So Warner Chappell had to pay back $14 million in licensing fees because he copyrighted it. And then the judge was like, he probably tried to charge like his favorite restaurant. Be like, you saying happy birthday, you gotta pay me. They're like, nah, bro. Sometimes it's good to have people in your pocket like that. Like, no, dude, it's public domain. Everybody, it's a kid's song. It's a happy birthday song. But anyway, yeah, $14 million in 2016. But he made a whole lot of money off that song. Today, birthdays and birthday parties are a multi-billion-dollar industry. You get themed parties, bounce houses, elaborate cakes, beautiful cakes, some that would blow your mind. You got gift registration, destination birthday trips. We've taken this ancient pagan ritual and commercialized it beyond recognition. I just had a thought. The Greeks could celebrate, Greek women, like, they were celebrating their birthdays. Like, girl, what we doing? It's like, we finna go over to Egypt and play in the sand for my, because, like, girls trip. I don't know. I just think it's kind of fun to think about. Or when Roman women could finally, like, celebrate their birthdays, they just like, oh, I'm going to Greece. Wait. Where would they go? They wouldn't go to Persia. This is just a bunch of conflict. A lot of things was going on. Maybe they went somewhere where they had a truce with someone. It wouldn't be, yeah. They had a truce with somebody and they was like, yeah, we finna go over there and celebrate our birthday. Like, ooh, like a Vegas. Like, I just thought, I'm silly, but I'm going to keep going because I'm almost done. But the core of the parties is still there. You got your candles, your goddess moon cake, if it's circular, but if it's square, it doesn't matter. It is a goddess moon cake. You make your wishes, your prayers to the gods, your gathering, your protection from the evil spirits. The cake is the offering to Artemis. Singing, which is your ritualistic chanting. Every time you celebrate your birthday, you're participating in a 1,000-year pagan tradition that Christianity tried to ban and capitalism turned into a profit. So I will be participating in a bit of capitalism for my birthday, which is February the 2nd. So happy birthday to me and happy pagan rituals to all of you celebrating your birthday this year. Some of you may be like, if you're a Christian and you're watching this, some of y'all be like, I don't do none of that. I'm just celebrating my date of birth. That's fine. I'm going to take the historical spin on it. Bake my cake. I'm not baking a cake this year. I'm doing something else. I don't know what I want, but I don't want a cake. Anyway, thank you for watching my very favorite intellects. I'm so sorry that I've been gone for a while, but I am trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing, and I don't know how to memorize my scripts. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know how to memorize my scripts yet, so I have to sit and read them. I figure maybe a little B-roll will help keep the attention on it. But anyway, I would like to know what you thought of this video. Would you rethink blowing out your candles? If you do, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments. Do you like the idea that you now know what it is? Are you a Christian and be like, I might not celebrate it no more? Or maybe it doesn't matter to you. Just to me, it don't matter. Some people, it really don't matter. Please like and subscribe for more historical chaos. And let me know in the comments, did you know birthdays were a pagan ritual? And do you still make a wish when you blow out your candles? Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, every tradition tradition we think is normal probably has some absolute wild pagan origins. Peace out. Love you.